Hey everybody, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life. Welcome to a Sweet Mom Scraps layout mixed with using my Shop It kit from Shop It or Stash It with Daisy and Christy. And that is featuring a lot of the sweet story from Maggie Holmes. It's almost my kit in particular is basically exclusively Maggie Holmes' Sweet Story. And I'm taking the piece of pattern paper that has all the frames on it, and I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut most of them out. I leave a little section that on the right hand side you see all those frames. I leave those. I'm going to do another layout with those down the road, I think, but all the rest of them I got them fussy cut out, including the ones that are falling off the page. And I'm trying to lay them all out here and figure out where I want them to go. My biggest thing is I didn't want there to be two colors right next to one another, and I was struggling trying to make sure that I didn't have two reds and two yellows beside one another. I have plans to do mixed media on top of underneath the frames, and I'm trying to make this work. So you're going to see me kind of flip here and there. I also have to keep in mind that the photos I want to use, I need to cut them. I'm going to cut them and put them in the frames, and I'm just in my mind trying to mentally figure out where they're going to go. And so you see me kind of just playing around. I also know I want to do a couple shaker pockets, and so I'm trying to keep all of that in my head as I'm trying to lay them out. So you see how I lay them out. This is not how it stays. I do change it a little bit. I'm still kind of playing here. You can see me doing that. That's, it's almost, there we go. That's what it looks like. That is how I keep it. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to go ahead and find the colors I want to use for my shimmers. Now, I don't have the exact colors. I'm just trying to find things that I know are kind of the same shades that I can work with. And I know I want this to be super light. I don't want this to be a heavy mixed media. I just want there to be a splash of color underneath it, so there's a bit of interest. I also want to remember where I've laid everything out. So I'm just taking my pencil and marking them so that I can see them. And then I'm actually writing down what color it is. Not that I think it's silly that I did that now watching this, because they all have a different shape to them. But in my head, I was like, I don't want to put the wrong color. So I also do that so as I'm spraying it, I knew I had the right color while I was spraying. So I guess that part was smart of me. Now, I've done all of that. I've traced them all out, wrote them down, the colors. I'm going to put that to the side, and now I'm going to work with my mixed media. I do my lightest color first, which is my yellow, and then I'm going to spray I have this water bottle that I'm going to spray and use some packaging technique to spread it out. And it's super light, but I love that. That's what I wanted, was a really light watercolor effect. And I just keep going. So I started with yellow. I think I moved on to my green, and then my pink, and then my red, and then my teal. I believe that's how I went about it. But I did try to keep it nice and light with some water, but not too watery. I didn't want to get this heavily soaked. I just wanted to make it look really fun, and I love the way that it turned out. And you can see there I've got little Miss Nora helping me, and I just kind of played. So this took a while. I went ahead and took my time with it. I wanted to let each one dry so that there wasn't too much intermixing of my colors. You can see some of the green fell into that yellow, but it soaked up fast enough that it ended up being okay. And then I kind of walked away from it and really let it dry, and then came back. Decided that I didn't just want to do mixed media. I needed more than that. So I'm actually going to go ahead after all of this dries and do some stitching as well. So there you go. You can see what it looks like with the mixed media. I love that. I think it's gorgeous. And then I'm going to lay all these frames back on, and you're not even going to see the pencil marks, especially because I am going to stitch, and that covers up a lot of it. So that is kind of the basics of it, but there had to be more. So now I'm going in and finding all the colors that I can find to do the stitching, and it took a little bit of time to do, but I don't mind. I just poke all the holes. I did it color by color. Again, it probably took me an afternoon, I'd say, between cleaning and taking care of the kids and getting lunches and all of that. So yeah, I just took my time, did it color by color, and worked my way through it. I will say, if you've been watching some of my videos, I lost a needle the last time I did a layout. I did not find that needle. That needle is still missing, but I was able to remember a place that I had a couple other needles. So I found a new needle to be able to do my stitching. But yeah, that other one's still missing. I think it's in my drawer actually. So what I scrap on is a an old dresser drawer, like a student desk, and so it folds down to a nice flat, but there's drawers underneath it, and I'm pretty sure it's probably down there, so I need to go searching for it this weekend. Okay, got all of that done. Now onto my photos. So here are my 3 photos. They are of Nora blowing bubbles, and then there's one of her holding a flower, which is actually really cute because she's holding this flower for me to take a picture of because she was giving it to Moira, which is so sweet. And I'm going to do a Traveler's Notebook spread talking about that in particular. But I love that photo. She wanted to know who I was talking to, and when I told her, she's like, "Oh, here, Moira," and then she held it up. It was so cute. And then she was blowing bubbles. But this was one evening. It was a summer evening, and it was kind of the perfect way to wrap up this night. I think my boys were still inside. They were done being outside, but Nora wanted to stay out, so I went ahead and stayed out with her. And I love these photos. They're sweet and just the perfect summer photos, I feel. So I want them to be in the frame, so you can see that I'm trying to make them all work. I, however, wasn't being smart with this photo. I fixed it, it's okay, but I forgot to put the frame down to make sure that when I placed it on my photo, it was facing because when I went to stitch them, they're just a little bit different because I fussy cut them, right? So they're not all the same. Oh, I was so mad at myself. So I fixed it, it's okay, but I should have thought about that before I did that. And now come the sequins. So I'm going to just make a couple of shaker pockets, and there's nothing too special about it. You place down I just use old packaging. Use white fun foam if you have it, because if you accidentally cut too much, you still don't see it. And you place it and make sure that it's a nice tight seal, so when you place in your sequins, they will stay there. And then you put tape on top of your fun film and find the pattern paper that you want to use as your background, or cardstock, whatever you want to use. Put that on the top being like on top of the sequins and the tape, and voila, you have a shaker pocket. It is so simple, and it's a fun thing to try if you haven't given it a shot. I definitely recommend it. If you are wanting it to be fully placed in there without much shaking, put a lot of sequins in there, or glue a few down throughout the background so that as it shakes, there's like 5 or so, especially in this amount, that will stay in the one spot. Otherwise, if you don't care, you can put less in if you want to see more of your background pattern paper, or however you want it to be. There's lots of ways to make shaker pockets work for you. I've seen some where there's been like sayings in it, so as you shake it, you can read the special saying that's in underneath in the background paper. I think that's really cool. So lots of different things you can do. And I was able to do the side one there because you can see that's off on the side. I just made my packaging super long and folded it so that it made its own little pocket. So very, very easy. Okay, so I've got my sequin pockets. I've got my photos down. I just need to do some embellishing. And this was actually the hardest part for me, which is so funny because it's normally the easiest. But I didn't really know where I wanted to take it. So I started with the bow. I knew I wanted to get one of those gorgeous bows on there from Rosie Studios. So that went on there. And then I pulled out the Cocoa Vanilla clear stickers. And I love these. I feel like they work perfectly because you still get to see the mixed media. It doesn't hide the mixed media, but there's a bit of interest. So I really loved how that worked. And it takes me a little bit. I struggle trying to figure out exactly where to place them all. And I kept a lot in this video, more so than I normally do. But I just thought I'd let you see it because it's not always a simple walk in the park to decorate, and it's okay. You do what works for you. You just keep trying, and eventually something will come out of it. So that's what this is going to be about. You're going to see me do all of that, and I'm going to use that. I do go in, use a little bit of chipboard. I use a little bit of my stickers. I did try to use a little bit of all of it because I do want to use as much of this kit as possible so that in the 2 weeks when I flip over to use my shop kit, I'm using my shop kit, my stash kit, I don't have a whole lot left of this one. It'll just be like kind of bits and pieces. That's kind of my plan. So we'll see how that works. I think so far so good. I used 3 packages of sequins in this one. I used the citrus twist. No, that was us. I used that lime one that we just got in August, and I'm so sorry, it's all left me. I will leave what they are, the link to the shop below. But I used 3 sequins mix. I know the one in the middle in the pink is the one that Christina created, the Gypsy Soul, and then the yellow one is an older mix that I had in my stash. But that, oh, green one, I'm so sorry, I can't think of what it's called. It's a newer mix though. It just was released in August and I love it. And I find it interesting because I finished that package and green is not my color. So the fact that I used that so quickly, I'm very proud of myself. And you'll see how I use the rest of it up on Monday on a layout I did for that too. So here you go. I tried to use that giraffe, not because it really meant anything, but I thought it was cute and I wanted to put it on this layout with Nora, but I can't make it work. So I instead chose a ladybug, I think, and then a couple pieces of fruit and some more flowers, and I found a camera. And I'll put my journaling up in that top spot that's still blank. I'm going to put a little label sticker up there. And yeah, I just played. Once I got the mixed media and the sequence and everything down, it was more just about playing and finding things that I felt like worked best, and still made it so that you saw my photos first and then everything else, because there's a lot of elements here. I was afraid my photos would get lost, so I was trying to keep them more of a focus rather than up in the background. So I think I did okay. You'll have to let me know what you think. Do you look at the photos first? Do you notice that first, or do you notice the bright and shininess of the sequence? I'd love to know what you think. I'm also, this was so hard. Okay, so I love my sequin pocket and I'm not going to change it, but this Dream Big fit perfectly inside that square and it was so hard not to use it. Anyways, if you're interested, always use my code Christy15. It'll give you 15% off in the shop to get your own set of awesome sequins. There should be new releases coming out really soon. It doesn't include the pre-order because you already get an awesome discount with that, but anything else in the shop, it will give you the 15% off. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry it's a little bit longer. I did want to keep it a little bit extra in there for you today. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. And make sure you head on over to Daisy's channel to see what she's doing with her Shop It kit, because her layouts are gorgeous and she had a layout up on Friday. So make sure you check that out. All right, here's a look at my finished layout. Thank you everyone so much for watching. And I hope you all are having a fabulous long weekend and staying safe inside your bubble. Bye everyone.